Hello, and welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast. I am a woman on a mission to gather a cadre of writers, thinkers, and teachers who are transforming the world, one character at a time. And it all starts with one thing: a deep understanding of human motivation, why people do what they do, and the forces that drive them. But lately, I have been on a side mission to teach about the Zettelkasten because of your interest and because of your continued questions. So today I ran a fun experiment. I ran a test of the effortless numbering system. I have been maintaining and I've been using the effortless numbering system for a while now, and it has seemed to work very, very well for me, and I've been very happy with it. But I wanted to do an objective test. I had a group of cards that were perfect for it, a set of 7 cards that had been, I created for the class that I taught, Reawaken the Dream of Writing, a 35-week class right here on YouTube. It's still available if you're interested. But I did a unit on the Zettelkasten. And at that time, I had not yet developed my effortless numbering system. So I taught a numbering system that had a 4-digit category and then put the cards in an organized, planned, outlined manner. Well, to accomplish this and to teach them how Zettelkasten numbering worked, I presented a series of cards on jellyfish. An interesting topic that, it just rather random, but I had my students lay the cards out on the desktop in a way that was like an outline that you would make for writing an essay. And in that form, you could see a clear pattern and structure. And then I just explained how you had your 4-digit category, what all the digits meant. And then after that, it's just like an outline. One, number, then letter, then you go back to number, and then you go back to letter. So it was kind of in that regard, it was the beginnings of my effortless numbering system. But I had them take all of those jellyfish cards and planfully lay them out so that you could see the structure. Well, the reality of a Zettelkasten is that the information can come in any order. And one of the things that people tout about a classification system is that if your information zings in any order, your classification system can help keep it orderly. But I've been maintaining that it's over thoughtfulness on this order thing is not really what's going on with the Zettelkasten. What's important about a Zettelkasten is association, that the right ideas are associated together and can be found together so that they can be thought about at the same time. Ordering really doesn't have anything to do with it. When you're having your creative mind going, it's merely the presence of these ideas, not that one was 1. Oh, no, that one should have been 1. Well, that one might have been 2. No, then it's 4. You're totally out of your subject if you start going there. They just need to all be present. So I ran a test, and I'll show you the cards of the test. And what I actually did was I took out dice. I had 7 cards. So for the first one, I had to roll 2 dice. After coming up with several numbers that were too big, it got a 7. Surprise, surprise, the easiest number to roll with 2 dice. So my last card was my first, which wasn't a bad thing for the crazy test. And then I literally rolled the dice and set all the other cards in random order. And then I used the effortless numbering system, the rules of the effortless numbering system, to place all the other cards and give them their numbers according to that system. And you will not believe the magic that came about. All of the right topics became associated together, and on directory cards, you won't even believe it, a totally random test, and it worked amazingly well. So we'll head on over to the cards and I'll show you how it worked out. Okay, let me show you how the cards were originally ordered. The first card was about jellyfish composition. Jellyfish are 95% water, and that got a card number 632301.1. And then the next card talked about layers. Jellyfish don't have brains or hearts or lungs. They have 3 layers. So that was card 2 because it was 2 different topics. Then the next one was that the outer layer of a jellyfish is the epidermis, it's its skin. Well, that's about being a layer, so that became 2A. The next card was also about a layer. The middle layer of the jellyfish is a jelly-like substance, and so that became 2B. And then the third card, the inner layer of the jellyfish is where they digest their food. So that became 2C. So now you have this beautiful outline going. Its composition, its layers, the 3 layers. And then there was another one, large jellyfish sometimes eat other smaller jellyfish, which I put under the layer where they digest their food, and that became 2C1. And then there was another random information about jellyfish. Jellyfish have been around 500 million years, longer than dinosaurs. So this was the kind of the pre-planned order when you got to lay them all out on the desk and you got to see a beautiful outline. Well, let's see what happens if you throw these into chaos and deal with them randomly. Okay, now let's see what you get if you grab these cards in random order, not sorted at all, and you follow the rules of the effortless numbering system. Do you get anything that makes any sense when the cards come all out of order? Well, let's take a look. The first card was jellyfish have been around 500 million years, longer than dinosaurs. So that became card number 1. Under the effortless numbering system, it's the first card. It has to be card 1. There's no other number. It's effortless. The next card was the inner layer of the jellyfish is where they digest their food. Well, what card in the Zettelkasten does this go best with? Well, there's only one other card, and they do go together, so this becomes card 1A. If this card had been about zebras, they would have had nothing in common, and it would have been card number 2. But because it relates, then it becomes card 1A, and it goes right after it. Next card in random order. Jellyfish are 95% water. Okay, well that goes with jellyfish too, and it's another kind of random piece of information about a jellyfish. Here you had its inner layer, here you had its composition. Why, it also belongs to this first card. Well then, now we need to have a directory card because we've got 2 cards that logically go right after this first card. And so the 1A is about the inner layer and 1B is about the composition. Okay, so now we're going to grab another random card. This one talks about the middle layer of a jellyfish. It's made of a jelly-like substance. What card does this go best with? Well, that's pretty easy to see. This one has the inner layer of the jellyfish, and this is about the middle layer of the jellyfish. They're both about layers of jellyfish. So this new card, goes best with this existing card. This card is 1A, so this is 1A1, comes right after it. All right, now we grab another random card. Jellyfish don't have brains, hearts, or lungs. They have 3 layers. Oh, okay. This is another card about jellyfish and layers. Well, which one does it go best with? They're both about individual layers. So we'll take this one because it's the smaller number. So we'll go with this one. and therefore this one becomes 1A2. Well, wait a minute, 1A2, that means there's two children, both wanting to be a child of 2C. So now we need a directory card. And the directory card tells us that this inner layer card has two child cards. The card about the middle layer and the card about the jellyfish having layers. So inner layer, middle layer, 3 layers. Okay, now we take another random card. Large jellyfish sometimes eat other smaller jellyfish. Well, these are all about layers. This seems more like it's a part of a random piece of information about a jellyfish. So it becomes 1C. The large eat the small. Seems to be its best place to go. But wait, it's about eating, and one of our layers was about eating. That inner layer is about how jellyfish eat. So we could say also that maybe this new card could also go with 2C. Well, it's more of a general information, so we're going to put it under our general, but we're going to make a note of it with a link. I don't know if you can read this, it's in pencil. Our little arrow, see also 1C. We decided it went best with our first card, but we note here that it also could have gone with the inner layer. Then our last card that we pull at random, the outer layer of a jellyfish is called the epidermis. It's the jellyfish's skin. Well, this card is also about jellyfish and layers, so it belongs with this card. And we already have a 1A and a 1A2, so our new card becomes 1A3, and it goes with this group. Now, I want you to take a look at these two directory cards and see if you aren't completely amazed. We took those cards at totally random order, and now look what we end up with. A jellyfish 500 million years old. They have layers, what they're composed of, and that large ones eat small ones. And then our other card summarizes the inner layer, middle layer, 3 layers, a reference to the large eat small, and the outer layer. So notice, even taking them completely at random, we end up with all of the information about layers together on one directory card where we can easily see. And all you have to get over the idea that it's, oh my gosh, this 3 layers should have been on top and this one should have been in the middle. It doesn't matter. All of the information about the layers are right in front of your eyes looking at this card. It's functioning exactly the way you wanted Zettelkasten to function, with no worries about numbering, and you didn't have to pre-sort the cards. They form their own area. And all of the cards that are basically about general information about jellyfish ended up together on a card. Isn't that amazing? With no effort, and taking the cards in absolutely random order. Well, what do you think of those results? Did it surprise you? I know I was surprised and delighted. I think it's just fantastic that it also illustrated my point about order not mattering. All of the cards about layers were on the same directory card, and it didn't matter that the innermost layer was first and that they had 3 layers was down on the card. All of the layer stuff was there, including a link to the large jellyfish eat small jellyfish. That was with the layers the previous time, but in the previous time it missed the link that it's also a piece of general knowledge about jellyfish. And not only did the effortless numbering system put all the general knowledge things together and all the jellyfish layer things together, it also caught that the large jellyfish eat the small, had relationships to both. That was missed by the outline system. So I would say not only did it pass the test, it blew the test out of the water. The effortless numbering system, in my view, might be the only way to go. You might not even need those categories for general knowledge. I'm still testing with that. I'm still thinking that maybe you want those 1,000, 2,000, 3,000s for general knowledge and just keep the low numbers for the things that are your burning interest. But testing continues, and I will keep you updated. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.